Hello and welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AWOL, and today I'm going to try to set myself up for a ornament, my 6th ornament so far. This is the pattern that I kind of want to work from, but I haven't quite figured out where I'm starting with it. So let's just take this thing up the top, copy it, bring it over here, and just a quick rotate that 90 degrees. Kind of slide it over here. So it's kind of hard. So basically there's going to be 4 things coming down from the top center. So whatever I choose from this is going to make a big difference. Let me just enlarge this a little bit. This one. There. That'll make it just a little bit easier. We'll go ahead and put that onto a new layer. So we can still move it around. But, yeah, I think this part right here with this orange, let me get my paint tool. Why is the color picker so large? Color picker radius 1. There, that's better. All right, so I think this is going to be what we go here. So make sure I'm on the right layer. Yep. Why is so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it comes down like that on both sides. So you can see it's just a little area that I have to actually work out. So it comes down both sides. Then there's a yellow here, a yellow here, and then this red does something. You don't remember why I chose this pattern in particular, but okay, it's doable. I have the strings that are kind of similar in color, so that's oh no, I got the red wrong. So these come out by 2. This comes in, back out. I am really thoroughly confused. Oh, that's it right there. Right. And then this off-white color. Why did you see that? It got the grays as well. That was really weird. So that's the gist of the shape between there and there. And then 3 red ones like this out here. It's really, this is not like a first choice for pretty much any pattern, but all right. How does it? So then it goes into a shape that's completely different. See, this thing is so small. Where's the halfway? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is the center right here. Let's get that lined up better. I think we're going to seriously customize this thing ourselves here. Yeah, back to the paint tool. This up here is all right. That's would have gone like this. We'll figure out what's in the center of that. I suspect it's a yellow. We'll find out in a moment. And then we can just flip this pattern. Because it's really small, and this is technically kind of the easier part of the whole thing. And you'll see why in a bit. Stay tuned. It gets crazy. Oh, it's an orange. I got that wrong. It's an orange because the red is changing directions right here. And then that came from up here. I like being able to see like how things work like this, like just kind of knowing how to generate a pattern because of experience. But I don't want to just be the only person to know how to do that. I want to teach you guys how to do this. So that way, if there's something that you really want to make, or you see an element in a pattern that you think is interesting, that you can go ahead and create your own as well. Or create ornaments or bags or whatever it is. I want that to be a possibility for everyone. Because when I look at like a web page that's got the patterns and stuff, it's like, it's typically just a few names doing so many things, and they're just, it's like they came up with a pattern and then decided that, you know, they could spawn another 6 variations from it, which is kind of some of the stuff that I do. I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of my patterns have in the past, like I did a project where I got a book, 100 Years of Color, and I went completely just crazy with trying to see how many, because it was five strings, or well, 10 strings coming down, 5 strings going into the kumi. But because it was such a limited number of strings, and because I was doing it where I had the strings cut in quarters, I was trying to make as many different patterns as I could that would use the strings evenly. And I just a little variation here and there, and I came up with, I don't know, 60 or more patterns. And that was without actually going outside of myself for like inspiration. That was just things that I was picking up on that I could do. If I had taken and gone through, I don't know, any one of the web pages, or, you know, maybe searched Instagram or something, I might have been able to have come up with even more still. All right, so let's hide that away for now. Go back to this. So this is our first bit. Copy, paste, flip, and anchor. So there's our first segment. So it's gray, gray, red. All right, so let's start with the gray. Gray, gray, red, gray. And then yellow, orange. So this is going to be this side here, right? So this is going to be, for me, honestly, I think I'd be way more comfortable doing this just on fields alone. So unless I think this is how this is going to work. Yeah, you know what? I'm probably just going to go do this and then come back and color in these things. It's because I can't even say for sure that this is right. Whoops. Because the bracelet is supposed to split off into these little thin rows that come off of the side of here and here. And then they'll go into a diamond where it joins up again. Then it goes back the reverse of this to come back to being these pieces here. I'll make this all make sense in the next video. I'm going to go try to actually make this thing happen. So, thank you for hanging out with me. And thank you to my YouTube members and my Patreon supporters for making all this stuff happen. This is recorded way in advance if you're watching this on the public stream. So that's why I'm not putting through the names, because a lot can probably have changed by the time this video actually goes public. So, but I still appreciate all of them. And thank you. Thank you guys very, very much. And I will be back. Okay, so welcome back. I wanted to kind of show you guys this part of the whole build because, well, it's a little complicated, but maybe it'll make sense if I try to explain this properly. So what this is I split the bracelet to go off into two separate directions. And essentially what it is instead of bringing the knots down as you normally would, you kind of go off in the opposite direction. And what that'll do is it'll make it venture outwards, right? And then get so far and then bring it back the other way. So this is what that pattern would look like. I could have just gone straight off to the left on the left side and go straight off to the right on the right side. But I was trying to make the pattern a little bit more interesting. And yes, it kind of complicates it a bit. And there's no real easy way to get it to line up with the actual pattern. So this part gets a little bit tricky to demonstrate. But the notion is that what we started off with for a pattern splits into two directions, goes out for a little ways, and then comes back in and goes back to the pattern. Now, this is now me with the hindsight of actually putting it together. When I got to the other side, I noticed that the color that's in the orange position was getting used up an awful lot. And it was going to be a question of would it make it to the end on the sides that were the strings were a bit shorter. And kind of looking at it, it just seemed like maybe my original pattern that I put together was too long. And I wish I'd had that kind of foresight beforehand. Again, all of these ornaments are basically prototypes. They are my idea, and I'm trying to them out. And I've got enough years of making bracelets that, typically speaking, if I have a pretty good idea of that I can make something, it's going to work out. The only thing that I can say that I would definitely have done different is the original pattern is a lot longer than it needed to be. In fact, it would have worked a whole lot better if I had just covered like one small segment of that design, and the whole thing would have balanced out much, much better. So will we come back and maybe remake this pattern and remake the whole ornament again at a later date? Quite possibly. That might be maybe next year's ornaments that I do. I don't know if this is going to become an annual thing. I don't know if I could continue to keep coming up with ideas for this stuff, but I wanted to share that there is a pattern for how I split it and kind of give you the idea of you know, on the left hand side, you just take those top 2 knots and you go over to the left, and then you take the next one and you just keep going off to the left, and that'll split it into this thing. So I wanted to explain that, and the next video will show me actually building this thing. I took a lot of videos while making it, and so there's going to be a lot of input there as well. So again, thanks for hanging out with me, and as always, don't get your strings in a bunch.